function is used for producing integer numbers, it can accept a single argument, two arguments, or 3 arguments. In the case of single argument, it produces numbers starting from 0 up to and excluding the given number. If it is, for example, 7, range 7 will produce 0 and then 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. If we have an integer number like that we put into the variable n, range n will produce numbers again starting from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, up to n minus 1. Like here, the last number generated in the first example is 6, because it is up to and excluding 7. Here, if we have a variable n, it will be up to and excluding n. Therefore, it will be up to n minus 1. Okay. For example, if n is equal to 20, what will be the numbers produced from 0 to 19? We can also have 2 arguments, in which case the first argument is the start value and the second argument is stop value. For example, if we have range 4, 7, it starts with 4. Instead of starting with 0, it starts with the first argument and it goes until and excluding the second argument, one by one. So 4, 7 range 4, 7 will produce numbers 4 and then 5 and then 6. If we have, for example, here 27, so it will be 7, 8, blah, 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 up to 26. Okay. Therefore, writing something with a single argument is equivalent to write 0, that argument. Range 7 is equivalent to write range 0, 7, or range n is equivalent to writing range 0, 7. When there is a single argument, this is the stop value. As you see here, it is stop value, and the start value is 0. Okay. When we have a start and stop, like 4 and 7, it starts from the first one. And then at each time it increments by 1. It produces numbers that increases by 1 up to and excluding the stop value. We can also have 3 parameters, 3 arguments. How does it work? If we have, for example, let's copy one of some of these. What does it mean? 4. Okay, this is the start value. The first argument is the start value. The second argument is the stop value. So it will go up to 7, but 27 is excluded. So up to 26. Here, what is this 3? It is the increment each time. So after 4, at 3, it will produce 7, then 10, then 13, 16, 19, 22, 25, plus 3 is equal or greater than 27. So the next one, which will be 28, is equal or greater to 27. Therefore, this is excluded. This will not be taken. Okay, it will produce these numbers. The first one number is the start value. The second number or variable is stop value. And the third one is the increment each time. From 4 increase by 3, 7 by 3, 10, etc., etc. We can also have something like range 7, 2, minus 1. So what is our start value? It's 7. Each time we increase by minus 1, or in other words, we decrease by 1. So next time it will be 6, next time it will be 5, 4, 3, and as before, 27 is excluded, or here is in single parameter, this value is excluded. So 2 is excluded. It is not used. So it will generate these numbers. Let's write here something similar. Let's put here some other values. Start from 90, go up to 9, every time with -10. So what is our start value? Our start value is 90. The first value is always the start value. If it is not a single argument has 0 as start value. But if there are 2 or more arguments, the first argument is always the start value. So 90 is our start value. Each time we increase by -10. So 90 plus -10 is 80. -10, 70. -10, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. The next one would be 0. But now it passed 9. Okay, it is now less than or equal to 9. So we get up to 10. If we put here 10, okay, if I put here 10, since the second argument is excluded, it wouldn't take 10. Okay, so using 90,10 minus 10 will produce from 90 to 20 because the next number 10 would be excluded, will not be used. Is this okay? I can put here 0 as well because after 10, what will be the next value? It will be 0. It reached the stop value, so it will not use 0. Okay, so putting here either 9 or 0 doesn't matter for this range function. So a range function produces a sequence of numbers, integer numbers. If there is a single argument, it starts from 0, goes up to and excluding that number. If there are 2 parameters, it starts with the first one, increase by 1 every time, goes up to excluding the second parameter. Let's put here another one. See, blah, blah. Like I have rated 5, 10, for example. What will be the values generated here? 5, then 6, 7, 8, 9. The next value, which is 10, is excluded. Okay. So this is the range produces such numbers. As we have seen here, it can be variables or it can be even, for example, something like start from range 2 multiplied by k, start with twice the value of k and go up to t minus 4, for example. Okay. If 2 multiplied by k is 10, it will start with 10. If t minus 4 is 25, then it will go up to 24. Okay. So here we can put expressions. There is no limit to that. As long as this expression results as an integer number. Okay. K has to be integer. If I have here k, a float number 3.5, etc., the range function will give an error. All the parameters must be integers. So since range function produces a sequence of numbers like here, we can use range to produce loops. What is our first loop? We will see there are different types of loops. The first loop structure that we will see is for loops. What will be the structure of for loops? After for, here we write a variable name. Okay, we put a variable and then we use the in keyword, and followed in keyword we use a range, and here some parameters. Okay, and then followed with column range k comma n, k comma n, or 5 comma 10, or blah blah. Any of these can be here. Okay, let's say let's start with, for example, 7, which will generate from 0 to 6. And let's put the variable name, for example, j. Okay, so what will happen? The variable j will get the value 0 at the beginning, and of course here we will have some statements. These statements will be executed the first time for j is equal to 0. Let's copy this. Let's put 0 comment. So these are the values generated with this range function. Range will generate 0, then 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 6. So what will happen? The first value, 0, will be assigned to j. The value of j will be 0. These lines will be executed. Then when they are finished, the next value of j will be 1. Then these will be executed for j is equal to 1. And these lines will be then executed for j is equal to 2. Then for j is equal to 3, etc., etc. So let's do something like this. Let's say a total is equal to 0. Here I'll be doing two things. First of all, print 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 6 to the screen, and also add that value to total. So here I will have something like this: print j to the screen, and also add that number j to total. Plus equal is equal means that increase total by the value of j. Okay, since total was at the beginning 0, it will add 0 to total, and then it will add 1 to total, 2 to total, add 3 to total, etc. J will get these values, individual values, every time the loop is executed. So let's go here. Let's take this lines, and I will go to here. Here there is something similar. Anyway, I will use that one. Here we have for x in range 5. What range 5 will produce? It will produce numbers from 0 to 4. Okay, starts from 0 until 5, which is not included. It is exclusive, so it will produce some numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we print those numbers. So here we see them printed. Let's go here and include our statements. Now I have this total equal to 0, j in range 7. So it will produce 0, 1 to 0 to 6. We are printing j, and then what we are doing, we are adding those j values, which is 0 at the beginning, and then 1, 2, 3, etc. in this loop to total. So when we finish this line, we will just print total. Well, total. Let's run this program. Here, as we see, 0 to 6 are printed. With this print, each number is added to total. So 0 plus 1, 1, plus 2, 3, plus 3, 6, plus 10, plus 4, 10, plus 5, 15, plus 6, 21. From 0 to 6, the sum of those numbers are 21. So here we are seeing that total blah blah produces this line. Okay. If we use a negative number, what will happen? Start with 0, increase by 1 each time, go up to 0, minus 4. Here we are printing blah 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 range minus 4. We see that it does not execute anything, because starting from 0, if we write, for example, something like range minus 4, minus 4 is already less than 0. So it will not produce anything. Okay, nothing will be produced. Minus 4 is already less than 0. If we put here, for example, 7, 0 is not less than 0. 1, 2, 3, etc. They are producing these numbers. They are less than 7. And then the next number after 6 would be 7, but it is not less than 7, so it stops. Here, since 0 is already less than minus 4, it stops immediately. So don't do this kind of errors in the while writing programs. If you want to print, for example, from -4, I want to print -4, then -3, -2, and -1. I want to print these. What I will do, start from -4, comma, go up to 0. Let's change this like that, minus and 0, and let's put here comma and 0. This is just a print, okay? It's not a range function call. This is just a string. We are printing this, and now I have -4. Start with -4, go up to 0. So what will happen? It will start with -4. Next time it will increase by 1. It will become -3. Is -3 less than 0? Yes. Like here, 0 to 6 are all less than 7. Or here, 5 to 10, 5 to 9 are all less than 10. Okay. So here similarly, it starts with -4. Every time it increases by 1. And all these numbers from -4 to -1 are less than 0. So let's run this program. As we see, we have those numbers printed here on our output. Any questions so far? Okay, thank you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to open your microphone and ask your question, okay? Here we have that same example, 5 to 10 will print numbers, will produce numbers from 5 to 9. 10 is exclusive. If I want to print from -8 to -3, I have -8 as the start value and -2 as the stop value, because I want to print -3, but not -2. So I put here -2. Here it is that this is the output of these statements. Now, the question can be something like that. Write a for loop that prints all 2-digit positive numbers. Positive, of course, integer numbers. What are these? What are these 2-digit positive integer numbers? What is the smallest 2-digit positive integer number? 10, 11, 12, 13, 99. These are 2-digit positive numbers, okay? Of course, here we will say in increasing order. So what I will write, I have to write, since it says prints, my loop will have a print inside. So I will have something similar to this one. Let's say I'm usually using J. What is the initial value? 10. So here, inside range, my first value will be 10. The last value will be 99. After 99, which number comes? Since they are increased by 1 every time, after 99, the next value is 100. So here I have to write 100 because up to 99, they are all less than 100. The next number after 99 would be 100, but it is, since the second parameter is excluded, it will not be used. So my loop, the answer of this question will be something like that. Okay. Next, let's do another example. I only changed 2 letters. I and N is changed with D and E. Write a for loop that prints all 2-digit positive integer numbers in decreasing order. When it is a decreasing order, it's not anymore 10, 11, 12, etc. It is 99, 98, 97, 96, blah, 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 11, and 10. The next number, 9, is not 2 digits. Okay, so we have to print these numbers. So what will be my range functions contents? What is the initial number? 99. So my first parameter will be 99. Let's skip the second one. After 99, we decrease by 1, then decrease again by 1. So the third parameter is -1. Okay. Every time, starting from 99, decrease by 1. So my third parameter is 1. What is the last number? 10. After 10, what comes? 9. So here I will write 9. Okay. If I do this, it will produce these numbers. If I want to print them on the same line, what I will do? Because this print will print everything on a separate line. 99 will be printed on a line. It will go to the next line. 98 will be printed, go to the next line. 97 will be printed, go to the next line. How do I prevent going to the next line? But instead of going to the next line, I want to print one space. What I will do, and equal just one space will ensure that. Let's take this, Control C. Let's put it somewhere here. I will also write a print. Print. I will put a comment here. I will just 2-digit positive integer numbers in decreasing order. Okay. Let's just look here. So here, what I am doing, I will first print 2-digit positive integer numbers in decreasing order is printed to the screen, and then start from 99. Each time increment the value in the range by -1. So after 99 it will be 98, 97, 96, etc. Go up to 9, but excluding 9. So the last number will be 10. Okay. And those numbers will be assigned to J, and inside loop is done. What is end in print? The end, the default value for end is \n, which is the new line. After printing anything, for example, here, print x is followed. What is x from 8 -8 to -3? This is what these are printed. After printing -8, it prints new line, goes to the next line. After -7, it goes to the next line. After -6, it goes to the next line, etc. So normally, print goes to the next line, which means that end is equal to \n. So instead of \n, I don't want to go to the next line. I change this to a space. Okay. If I don't put anything, then it means that end is equal to a string which contains only \n. So print everything on one line. Let's do this. Here there are squares. I will take these and just put below that. After I just put those lines after integers -8 to -3. So it will be printed somewhere here. Okay, let's run this program again. Here it is, -8, blah, blah. This is that part. And my new program is here. 2-digit positive integer numbers in decreasing order is printed. And as we see, all those outputs are on the same line. Okay. But strangely enough, after 10, it is still on the same line, and this next print have printed on the same line. Okay. Anyway, we have achieved at least our task of printing all 2-digit positive integer numbers in decreasing order on the same line. What else? Let's look to the Python lecture notes. Here there are several examples. Var in range 10, it will print it will produce the numbers from 0 to 9. Okay, the range will be producing will produce numbers from 0 to 9. So the variable var will be assigned 0 at the beginning, and then 1, then 2, 3, 4, up to 9. 4, 10, it will start with 4. So the first value of this variable will be 4, then 5, 6, 7, up to 9. 10 is excluded. What will be the values in the block of statements for var? Var will get first the value 2, then each time it will be increased by 2. So the next value will be 4, then 6, 8, 10. The next one is 12, but 12 is beyond 11. So 12 will not be taken. It will just produce this range function call with 2, 11, 2 will produce the numbers 2, 4, 8, 6, 8, and 10. Okay. Now I will change this slightly. Let's copy this. Write a for loop that prints all 2-digit positive integer numbers divisible by 10 in increasing order. So what are the 2-digit positive integer numbers divisible by 10? 10, then 20, 30, up to 90. Okay, these are 2-digit positive integer numbers divisible by 10. So what will be my loop? Now my increment is not 1. From 10 to 11, it was increasing by 1, then to 12 by 1, etc. But here now I am increasing my numbers 10 at a time. So the only change will be comma 10 here. Increase by 10. If I don't have the third parameter, the default is 1. It starts with this value up to and excluding the second one, stop value, and increasing by 1. If I put 10 here, now after the first value 10, it will get 20, then 30, etc. After 90, when 90 plus 10 is done, the next value will be 100, but it is excluded, so it will not use this. Is this understood? Divisible by 5. So what are those values? 10, 15, 20, 25, blah, 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 up to 95. So all the only change is change this 10 to 5. Okay. Let's start with 10. Increase every time by 5. As long as it is less than 100, means that as long as it's a 2-digit positive integer number, then continue the loop. Write a for loop that finds the sum of all 2-digit positive integer numbers divisible by 5. Okay. Let's remove this. So what will be my program? Total is equal to 0. Total plus equal j. Now we are not printing. We are trying to find the sum of all 2-digit positive integer numbers divisible by 5. So I want to find the sum of all these numbers, okay? Up to 95. So this is what I want to find. But anyway, I have to produce 10, 15, 20, etc. and add all these numbers to a variable. So I must always start with 0. Initial value of total is 0. So in this loop, we are producing numbers from 10 to 95 or 10 to 100 exclusive by increasing 5 every time. And then therefore it produces 10, 15, 20, blah, blah. And we add all these numbers to total. At the end, we have the total. So we can have a print, for example, something like total after the loop. Okay. Don't print the sum inside the loop. When you compute everything, when you find the total of all these numbers, then you are ready to print the total. Okay, so to print total must not be inside the loop. So if you put it like this, it is inside the for loop, it will not be good. Let's do this. For example, it will be Control C. Let's go to our program. Let's go to the top. I will delete it anyway. I have this here, total blah blah, print total. Let's run this program. Let's go to the top. 10, 15. Sorry, where it is? Ah, come on, what's happening? Oh yeah, the first value of total is 10. It is printed. Okay. After 10, what is the next value? 15. 10 plus 15, 25 is the next value of total, and then 20 is added, then 25 is added, 30 is added, 35 is added. We have lots of prints. This is not the total, this is the intermediate. All these are intermediate totals, not the last total. If I just don't indent this, it is outside the for loop. This is inside the for loop, this is outside because it is not indented. If I do this, now I see that 945 is the sum of all two-digit integer positive numbers divisible by 5. Okay, from 10 to 95. Let's erase this from here. By the way, in LMS, if you go to LMS and click on instructive Python programs, here you will see that there are some programs that contains if statements. After today's lecture, I will put here some programs that contain examples of for statements. Okay, so you will be able to download the examples that I'm showing you here. These programs will be put into LMS. This program, and there is one more program. They will be available to you after today's lecture. The for loop can also be used with some other structures, not only with range function. Assume that I have a string. Let's do it here. Do I have it somewhere here? I will check. Or I will just put it somewhere here. Assume I have a string, okay? City is equal to Rio de Janeiro, for example. This is a string. If I do a loop using this string for X in city, here, instead of range, I am putting a string. What happens if I build a loop using a string in the in part of the for loop? Here I have in range, but here I have this. What happens? It takes every character of this string into this variable and process it as such. Let's say print, for example, X. So X will be capital R the first time, then lowercase I the second time, O next time, and then space, and then D, then blah, 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 blah. All these will be, or every character of the string will be taken one by one, stored into this variable, and inside the for loop will be executed. As you see it here, okay? Assume I want to print a space between each character. What I will do, instead of going to the next line, oops, sorry. Instead of going to the next line, I will put here and equal a space. And let's also do another print. An empty print just goes to the next line. Okay, this empty print, what it doesn't print anything, but since there is a print statement here, it automatically prints a new line. Okay, let's run this program. Now we see that each character of this string is printed by a space between the characters. Every character of the string city is taken one by one, put into the variable x. So x is every single character of the city string. That character is printed, followed by space, not new line. It doesn't go to the next line. It stays on the same line. After all this for loop is finished, what do? We have a print. So it goes from here. It was at the end of this line on the right hand side. At the end of the Rio de Janeiro, it was here. So this print goes to the next line. So to the beginning of the second line, and this 40 times equal is printed there. Okay. So if you want to finish the current line and go to the next line, you use an empty print. Print with parentheses, of course. A print always requires a parenthesis. It goes to the next line. It prints a new line character. There is also one more, several more variations. Here we have a variable and then a string. And here we have again a variable and then a list. Since we haven't seen the lists yet, we will see lists in the future. We can use a for loop with the lists as well and with other structures as well. We will see this in the future, but just this is to let you know that for loop is not only used with range function. There are other ways of using the for loop. Okay. Here there are range functions, function calls, but here there's a string which takes each character one by one, put into the variable, and repeat the block of statements for every character. And then we can also have a list. Then in this case, it will take every element of the list. Every element will be put into the variable, and this block of Python statements will be repeated for every element. We will see this in the future. Here there's an example about that, but forget about this. What else can I say about that? Yeah. Now, one more example. Here, assume that instead of divisible by 5, I want to find, not find sum, but let's say print, that prints. Let's make again that prints, write a for loop that prints all tuples integer numbers divisible by 7. So is 10 divisible by 7? Forget about that. Would it be appropriate to put here 7? If I do this, what will be the numbers generated? The first number generated will be 10, then 17, then 24. Are these divisible by 7? No, these are not divisible by 7. What is the smallest two-digit positive integer number which is divisible by 7? It is 14. Okay, so the first number is 14, and then 21, 28, 35, blah, blah, blah. So what I have to do, in this case, I have to write here 14. It says two-digit positive integer numbers divisible by 7. Okay, so, and of course, in increasing order. So this is the, of course, not total, of course, print J. So write a for loop that prints all two-digit positive integer numbers divisible by 7. I will write 14 because 14 is the smallest two-digit positive integer number, which is divisible by 7. So my start value will be 14. And every time if I increase by 7, then it will always remain divisible by 7. Is this understood? Now, what happens if we say in decreasing order? Probably most of you know that 98 is divisible by 7. Then 91, then 84, 77, 70, 63, etc., etc. So what my start value in this case will be 98. As long as it is greater than 9, it is divisible by, it is a two-digit number, so my increment will be -7. This will be my loop. Okay. Of course, here you have to do a small computation and find, since it is in decreasing order, it says decreasing order, you have to find the greatest two-digit positive integer number which is divisible by 7, which is 98. Here you need to do a small computation on a piece of paper, and then you can find the solution. Okay. Another way of doing this. What I will be doing, I'll start with 99 and go by -1. So what I will be doing, I will produce 99, 98, 97, 96 up to 10. As long as it is greater than, since it is negative, the condition will check if it is greater than this value. But here I cannot do print j, then it will print everything. What I can do, I will check if the value j is divisible by 7. If j modulus 7 is equal to 0, this if statement means that if j is divisible by 7, if j divided by 7 gives a remainder 0, then it is divisible by 7. Then in that case, print this. 99, it will produce, j will get 99. But for 99, this condition is not true. For 98, this condition is true. It will print 98. For 97, this condition will be false. It will not print j. For 96, not true, etc. Up to 91. At one point, it will be 91. For 91, this condition will be true. It will print 91. For 90, 89, 88, etc., it will not be true. Up to 84. For 84, it will be true. So I can write it like this, or I can write it like that. Okay. There are two possible solutions. In one of them, I have to compute the greatest into two-digit positive integer number divisible by 7. Put it here, and then as long as it is greater than 9, it is 2 digits. Okay. And then when I diminish by 7, it will always remain divisible by 7. And then I'm only producing the numbers that are divisible by 7 and two-digit positive integer numbers. And then I just print them. But here I produce all two-digit integer numbers in decreasing order. But I only print if the produced number is divisible by 7, because it says write a for loop that prints all two-digit positive integer numbers divisible by 7. So there are two possible solutions. This is one solution. This is another solution. Are these two solutions understood? Anybody who has a question about this? Okay, this is the end of my lecture for today.